the whole idea behind the trip was really to be outdoors, out in the open, see lots of stars, lots of mountains, lots of waterfalls. Well, certainly that's what I'd like to see, and really try and get a feel for the space that is America, and well, I guess Canada as well. And that was kind of part of what attracted me, you know, to going there as well. Is just the complete vastness, and I was also looking for a certain amount of time of being alone, you know, having lots of kind of soul-searching time, I guess. Lots of time just to switch off, you know, from the busy life that I normally lead in London. So I guess I wanted a change, but at the same time, I also wanted to experience something very different. Have lots of time to meet strangers, you know, be in situations I would never normally be in, and see what comes from there. Because it's, you know, on the motorbike, it's a lot more physical than being in a car. Also, you know, moving like that every day in itself is actually quite tiring, and I didn't want it to be completely about just, you know, a box ticking exercise and go, oh, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. You don't experience an area like that unless you actually spend some time in it. So, you know, I have, you know, quite carefully, you know, planned everything out, and the idea is that I kind of wake up in the morning and I just know, okay, today I have to go from here to here. I don't have to worry about the fact that, you know, am I going to find accommodation there tonight, because I know that would have been organised already. And I can actually just enjoy the journey, number one, you know, without that kind of worry. And yeah, and obviously hopefully get to the other side and actually have time to go walk around and, you know, actually see it. And if I want to, you know, strike up a conversation with someone, have a cup of coffee, or, you know, have a drink, whatever, there will actually be enough time to kind of do that. And that was really why I didn't want to do too much distance on a daily basis. Although clearly, as a whole, it's still quite a lot of distance anyway. I chose the States for a couple of reasons. Number one was that when I was at university, I wanted to do a motorbike trip of one of the coastlines of America. It was actually something I'd said to my best friend at the time, and I was like, you know, oh, that would just be, you know, so amazing to actually do that trip. I always kind of thought I'd probably do the West Coast, but, you know, I wasn't really kind of that fixed on that necessarily. But I always had a huge desire to go to San Francisco. Actually, as a child, there were two places I really wanted to go to. New Zealand being one of them, which I've been to twice now, and San Francisco was the other one. And it's kind of part of all of it. I thought, well, you know, in a way, if this is about living my dream, that would cover off, you know, two dreams that I wanted to have. But it actually started out being kind of a 2-week trip of kind of covering that off. And the more I started thinking about it, the more I was thinking, there's so many more things that are kind of happening, or certainly there were so many more things happening for me. And there was a much bigger plan which I wanted to cover off. And a lot of it was about, you know, kind of spending a lot more time and trying to, I don't know, just do all the things that I wanted to do. And that's why it eventually kind of grew to this 3-month trip. And the western part of America just seemed absolutely perfect to me, because it had all the space, the change in the scenery, yeah, just all the nature that I really wanted, and certainly the mountains. And I just find mountains are kind of my happy place, you know. I love the sea. The seas are relaxing, and generally if I can combine the two, I'm in 7th heaven. So it was just perfect. So it was a perfect choice. From my perspective, you know, I've never done something like this before, so it was really a case of starting from scratch, and you know, having to figure out, you know, from what motorbike I wanted to, you know, buy. Well, actually, frankly, before that, how to get my license was my first challenge. So, you know, kind of had to go through that process. You know, then it was about, you know, what motorbike to buy, what gear to buy, you know, what camping stuff that I wanted to take. You know, there's been an endless number of decisions that I've had to make, and you know, each one of those things you kind of spend time researching. I know, you know, we'll get onto the charity side of it as well, but you know, because of that, you know, I've kind of tried to develop this whole kind of social media strategy, which is, you know, something I know absolutely nothing about, and in itself that was probably my most scary bit. So, you know, just learning how to use all this equipment and trying to figure out, you know, where do I want to go, how's this going to work, you know, all the considerations you've got to take into account, you know, booking accommodation, all these things. You sacrifice a lot of time, so, you know, I'm sacrificing the time because obviously I believe in what I'm doing. But that's obviously a large thing, and obviously it's, you know, going to be costing me a lot of money. I probably spent more money than I, you know, maybe needed to spend, but you know, from my perspective, you know, my kind of personal safety is obviously my, you know, my greatest concern. I would like to actually come back at the end of the trip. So, so I did go down the route of, you know, buying a pretty much brand new bike, because I didn't want to have to think that maybe something was going to go wrong with it. You know, I was trying to kind of limit risk the whole way through. You know, flying the bike over rather than sending it via ship, because I didn't want anything to happen to the bike on the way there. You know, a lot of my decisions have been about, you know, safety, but mine, and obviously, you know, the equipment effectively, and trying to, you know, aid me, because number one, I'm not that young anymore, and I'm getting older, and all the bits are starting to fall apart. No, but you know, you've got to be realistic about, you know, physically what can I kind of cope with. So, so yeah, I'm sure I'll be sacrificing doing a couple of holidays and things in the next couple of years, just trying to make, you know, make sure that I pay this one off. So part of what I'd like to learn is, I think, to kind of trust myself a bit more. And that might sound like a strange statement, but I think so often we kind of go ahead in life and we just do things, but we doubt ourselves all the time, and certainly, you know I do that with myself. And what I've kind of started to realize over the last year, part of what sparked my trip in the first place, was that I probably doubt myself a lot more than what I should give myself more credit. So part of the actual trip and what I wanted to get out of it was cutting out all the noise in my life and learning to trust my instincts a lot more, and just learning to relax and kind of, you know, enjoy life, because ultimately, you know, life is a ride really, and it's not really meant to be a destination, it's meant to be about the journey. So that's what I'm looking forward to.